All right, so
Yeah.
the Woman King.
The Woman
The Woman
King.
King.
Yes.
So, anyways, so this is going to be a our opinions or reviews or thoughts of
The
the
Woman
Woman
King.
King. So, where should we start? Should we start with the good, the bad? What should we do?
Let's just start with the good and the bad.
The good and the bad together at the same time?
No, like why even start off with start off with the good.
Okay, the
How about
good.
that?
Okay, so you go first.
All right, the good thing is it was an action-packed film.
Okay.
I didn't fall asleep. It was very long.
Because we did go at 10 o'clock at night. So that means we left the theater like around 12:30.
Yeah, and I
in the
was
morning.
and I was like, well, I'm going to be in some. I was thinking I'm going to be in some comfortable seats, and I might go to sleep. So I hope this movie don't bore me. But it was action-packed.
Because we had those recliner seats.
Yeah, I thought they had warmers. For some reason, I thought they had warmers.
For me, I think one of the good things about this movie was that it showed like sisterhood. I know a lot of people, black women, they tend to gravitate towards like sororities and things like that, but it just goes to show you that a sisterhood has been, in our DNA since. So that was an interesting aspect to me. What else was good, would you say?
I like the competitiveness that the females had. Showing their warrior spirit, grit, and able to endure pain. There's a part in the movie where they had to go through an obstacle course, and one it's like going. Let's just say it was like going through rose bushes, and she went back to go get her friend. So she went through the rose bushes, which was painful, and then she turned around and see her friend having trouble, and went back in there. That was kind of like that was dope though.
Yeah, that was kind of
That was
crazy.
really.
Okay, so other than that, was there anything else that you felt was a pro in the movie?
I like the fact that they had a voodoo priest there. She was actually also acting as a Dahomey warrior. I think that was pretty cool. They had the spiritual aspect of, uh, of voodoo, of the Benin people. I think that was pretty cool how they tied that into the movie.
But I did like how they incorporated some voodoo scenes in the movie. And if you stay a little bit past the credits, there is another longer scene that gives you another taste of voodoo. One thing that I liked, thought it was interesting, was that Angelique Kidjo made a few appearances in the movie as I guess one of King Gezo's consultants. I'm assuming because she is a Beninese woman who is a world-renowned singer, that she, gave some guidance to those who produced and directed the movie as far as like the music goes. Maybe some, I don't know. I think mostly the music and pretty much certain words to say, which I mean there weren't really many words in font to say other than Dahomey, but I'm just making the assumption that she was asked to participate in this movie because she is Beninese, and she could provide some guidance to the movie. Another thing I thought was a pro, was that it brought like a positive light on the Amazon warriors. They are known to be very fearless and to be feared. So I think this movie showed that these women, although outside of the kingdom walls, they were obviously to be feared, but then within the King Gezo's walls, they're just regular old, regular women, young women who, go through women's situations. So I think I liked how it showed like a softer side of the women. So yeah. So is there any other positive things that you noticed?
Well, I also like how they killed everybody in the town.
You liked how they killed everybody in the town?
Well, I like how they was standing up, how they stood up for their people. Like we about to kill everybody here, because they were trying to capture their people. They were out in their city partying, their kingdom partying, and actually taking their people to go sell them. So I like how they stopped that.
In the movie, or is that something that you believe happened in those times, or
you know what, I don't know, I don't, this is the producer's story. She's a Caucasian lady,
let's look up
really
all the people
know.
involved. Who's the producer? Who's the director?
Whose story is it? What's her name?
Well, the producer, Viola Davis, was a producer. And there's other
writer. Who is the
well,
writer?
I don't know who the writer. The screenplay is Gina Prince Bythewood and Dana Stevens, which is a white lady. I don't know. I guess this kind of ties into the bad, right? So let's just go ahead and talk about the bad, right? The con. So, you had mentioned those affiliated with the movie. So I'm going to go off and say that I would have liked to see more Beninese people involved in this movie, because this is a very unique time in Benin's history, a very unique people in Africa, a very unique women in Africa. So it would have been nice to see more Beninese people involved. I would have liked to see Jimo Hosu's name, or at least an appearance in the movie, because he is a well-known actor here in the U.S. and he is Beninese. So there's that. I also would have liked them to at least film some parts in Benin. From what I've heard and read, it was filmed in South Africa. And South Africa is different from Benin and the western region of Africa. So it would have been nice if they did that. The kingdom, or the area that the full people and the Amazon warriors lived in, was in Abomey. Abomey is still up and running today. You can actually go to the king's palace. There we go. The king's palace is still up. It's turned into a museum. So, and there's a lot of historians. There's people there who still can give you the facts, because their history has been passed down many generations, verbally passed, and it's hardly ever really changed. But what do you think? What's a bad account for you?
Well, you kind of said it. It wasn't filmed in Benin, where the Dahomey Kingdom is. So that's crazy. This wasn't like a Black Panther movie, a fiction. This was something that was real.
And then the other thing that kind of bothered me was the wig that he had on. I was just kind of like, what is this S-curl fro? I don't know what it was. It was like kind of like fro, but then kind of like whoop.
It was everybody's hair. Everybody's hair didn't look like natural. Everything had some type of process to it. It wasn't.
Well, the one actress that we were talking about that we both really liked, she played Izogi. with the eyebrows.
Yeah, she had braids though.
Right. She had like a more authentic, believable hairstyle. Okay, so I like John Boyega. I think he's a really great actor. He's obviously, a child of Nigerians. So when I hear him speaking in, his Nigerian English accent, all I could hear is a Nigerian English accent, but I think that's also my own personal issues, because I know that today and since, after King Gezo's ruling, when the French took over, obviously the people there took on a French accent, right? So when Beninois people speak English, they have like this French kind of twang in their tone when they're speaking English. So they don't sound like a Nigerian speaking English or a Ghanaian speaking English. The only time you would hear that is if a Beninois person goes to Ghana or goes to Nigeria to learn English. Then they're going to take on that, African English, British African accent or whatever,
It kind of shocked me a little bit when I was just the beginning of the movie, and just probably like 5 minutes in, it kind of clicked, like they're talking English.
Yeah.
Not that I wanted them to speak, another language, because I wouldn't understand it. It'd have to be captions, but they were talking English, and I don't know. It was just kind of weird.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying too to my mom, was like, it would have been nice if they would have had like a couple 1 or 2 liners in font and had like the subtitles on the bottom. At least it would give you the opportunity to hear what this language sounds like. It's something as simple as mikwaba, which is like welcome. You know what I mean? They didn't even say that. Right. One of the scenes, right? He told the Portuguese or Brazilian dude or whatever, oh, speak to me in my language. And they started speaking English, and I was like, well, not quite. Okay, so then there was a difference.
What part?
So from the trailer,
okay,
to the movie.
Yeah, there was.
So when we seen the trailer, and even after the movie, because you didn't remember, but yesterday, I said to you, I said I could have sworn in the trailer they made it seem like this girl was kissing a white man.
Well, it was just that dude.
No, but then I was like, okay, well maybe they made it seem like he was a white man, but he was mixed.
What?
But then now we would go back to the trailer and we see that they did show her kissing not a white man but the mixed dude that's in the movie.
Well, yeah, because they showed the white dude at first.
Right, at first.
So it makes it seem like, okay, she's kissing him.
Right. But in the movie, there is no kissing scene between that girl and that dude. Okay, spoiler alert. That dude and that girl in the movie, they didn't kiss. So why in the trailer they kissed?
Yeah, so it was some deleted scenes.
And it's like,
There's
whoa.
some scenes that have been deleted.
It makes me feel like, okay, did they do this on purpose to get people talking? Like, ooh, she kissing a white dude.
Right.
Back in 18, whatever. Or did it cost a little bit too much talk on the internet that it got cut like at the last minute?
Right.
Okay, so another thing that I would, because so now we've moved on to what we would have liked to see. Okay, enough with the bad and the good. What we would have liked to see, or either one of us would have liked to see. Okay, so I actually would have liked to see the main character. I don't want to sound like an ageist, but I would have liked to see the main character be a little bit younger. Viola Davis is visibly older. I mean, it's true. Like
she had some aches too. She was aching.
Like, yeah, right. Like we always saw her like in the bath, like soaking, and that's what like older women do. I don't think, and this is just me assuming, there was women that old out there really fighting like that. You know, they would have probably moved them to a different part of the army. You know, they're not going to be a frontliner like she was. She was a frontliner. You probably would have been a cannon. You probably would have been a cannon shooter, something. You know, like maybe like 40, pushing 50 would have been way more believable in my eyes. Just like when I was just looking at Viola Davis, I'm like, damn, like that's like my mom out there. Right, on the front line. Right, you're the same age as my mom. Like that's all I could see. She couldn't even pass as someone who's like 40.
And I wonder, from an older person looking at that, will they be like, would that give them some type of inspiration? Like, oh, you know,
I'm getting to the gym. I'm going to the gym.
Like I still got it.
I'm going to the gym. I'm lifting.
So
I'm kicking butt.
Yeah. Favorite scene? One of my favorite scenes in the movie was when they was in the cornfield. I don't know if that was a cornfield, but that was in some brush.
In the bush, yeah.
You know, in the bush. When they went to go kill the Oku.
Oyo.
O-Y-O. Okay. When they went to go kill the Owu, I thought they was Oyo. I thought they would sneak up on them, you know, because they was really silent in that scene. Thought it was really silent, and it was gonna be the first time that we was gonna be introduced to the Dahomey warriors fighting. Mm-hmm. So they were doing a little thing, right?
They thing like fighting thing?
No, they was doing a little. I'm getting to it. They was doing they thing their sneak attack, you know. So I thought they was gonna sneak up on these big, bulky black African men, you know, these warriors, you know, these women going to fight these men. So I'm like, what's gonna happen here?
So, I mean, how does that?
You know what? It was a scene. It was a dope scene, action packed.
But how does that make you feel? Like as far as like how's that? Is that portraying women in a good way, in a bad way? Even though we know though we know these women are real, you know.
Looking at it in that light, these were Dahomey warriors. Mm-hmm. It was the first all-women army. Mm-hmm. Like when you think of an all-women army, you should be thinking of like some powerful women that's strong, that can shoot, that can fight. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't think that. I don't know. It was just kind of cool to see just black women just fighting together, like going to get these men. Like, damn, y'all not scared,
right?
Like, and you know, I can see how that can like uplift women, but it's okay. Women need to be uplifted. Like, I'm not feared. By no means. Seeing that, I'm scared. I'm about to run. But no, it was dope.
And I just, you know, that just goes to kind of like tie in with, you know, the story that I've told you before. My grandfather's funeral, when, you know, my brother's camera got stolen.
Right.
And they found the dude who stole my brother's camera.
And it was the women.
It was like 10 women that jumped this dude.
Yeah, like, the women was going ham.
And like they was like aunties. I'm not talking about young girls, 20. Right. No. These were like 30, 40, pushing 50. That's why I said I like 40 years old, pushing 50. I could imagine, because I've seen women in that age group. Right. Jump a dude. So you know, people are talking about, oh, like this is like a feminist movie, or it's like drawing a divide between men and women. Like, what do you
I think
about that?
I think it I think it can, for those that are thinking in that.
Be feminist or be
no, just
dividing men.
Divide. I don't know about the feminist movement, but there could be an argument on a divide because you see women in power, women being overly masculine, beating up men or winning in competitions of men, just the uprising of women and people with strong beliefs, and women needs to control, women needs to get off the feet of men. I think they'll write on that, and they will push that narrative forward. Like this is a women movie. We are bashing men. We're taking over. They can ride with it.
They can ride with it, but they won't have a valid point.
No, I'm just I'm just saying that people that watch this movie, they have their own beliefs.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like this is definitely not a feminist movie.
I don't think it's no. But feminists can jump on this and make it into a feminist
like
movie.
Girl power.
Yeah.
Girl power. But they were told what to do.
Yeah. They
were told
what to do
was physical power.
They were told what to do.
Physical
but
power.
Did she listen to the king when...
Okay, so we're going to... So you want to talk about that point?
Well, I'm just saying. They were told what to do, But did she listen to him?
No, she didn't. But
that's the king.
That is the king. I'm just going to kind of play devil's advocate here. She didn't listen to the king. No, she didn't. She also didn't, she didn't disrespect him in front of his courtship and things like that. But you have to also...
We know.
What?
That was... You have to think about, well, that was her
daughter.
Her daughter, of course.
Right. So I feel like, she was conflicted, right? She was conflicted, not, should I listen to the king versus getting my daughter? I feel like she was conflicted as, should I get my daughter versus me being kicked out of the army? Because in the army, you cannot have kids.
Mm-hmm.
You essentially have to be a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So had she told King Gezo, now he's my daughter.
Yeah. So
I think she was putting.
So why
her,
she?
I don't think she was
the general that she is. Why she just didn't go tell the king that this is my daughter?
Why didn't she? Because that's the thing.
You brave, you big, you bad.
She was putting her status, even though people, she didn't want to be woman king. She didn't want to be woman king, and maybe she didn't want to be woman king, but she was still putting her status as a Amazon above everything else. So now we're moving on to the Amazon sold people into slavery. Okay, so
but they didn't want to do it no more. Okay, they did.
Okay, well, no, the thing is, there's many layers to this, right?
Yes, there is many layers.
First and foremost, right? The Dahomey people were not the first ones to sell people into slavery. Okay, they might have been the last ones. Yeah, I will admit to that. They were the last ones. But, people are like, boycott the movie, boycott the Amazon warriors. We have to also remember, first and foremost, the Amazon warriors were not ruling, right? They follow the king. The king tells them what to do, right? So if you're going to be having beef, you know, if you're gonna have past ancestral beef with somebody, have it with King Gezo, not the warriors.
And then in the movie King Gezo, when the guy came into the palace and said he wanted some people or whatnot, or he has to pay his fee or whatnot.
Wait, his fee to what?
I don't know.
I don't remember that. What happened?
You know, the barbarian dude. He came into the palace.
The Oyo guy. He had like the opposite. The opposite. He had like the head wrap. He was like the horseman. Yeah, those are the Oyo. The Oyo, they're known to be on a horse.
Okay, so he went over there and he was kind of taxing the king.
Right, because at that time, right, the Oyo Empire was very powerful. So King Gezo's trying to flip that.
Right, and what was King Gezo doing? He was giving away his own people. He was giving away the homie.
The Amazon warriors.
Amazon warriors.
Yes.
So
in exchange, even
though they didn't do that, he been doing that. That has happened.
Right, that has happened. Obviously, because in the movie, the half Portuguese, Brazilian dude, half Berenois, his mom was a captured, did he say warrior? Or just a homie?
He just said the homie.
Oh. But, yeah, so, and then...
people gotta realize that, this is a movie. It is somebody else's story, and it's just put on big screen.
Yes, it is. But at the same time, yes, Gezo was not participating in the slave trade, right? So he said, okay, yeah, no more slave trade. We are going to mass produce palm oil. That is fact. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he liked his money, and he, a couple of years later, he did continue on with the slave trade.
Another thing that, I learned this, I would say in the last 10 years that, that African people also sold their own people, and I think that this is going to open up a lot of people's eyes, because we were always taught that the French or the Europeans came into Africa and stole our people, never realized that they were actually selling us also. And I even argued with Europeans a long time ago, like, no, African people didn't sell, but this movie actually shows it, like, oh, so there is going to be some type of pushback on Africans, of course, but it's not like they never said they didn't. Benin was the first country to apologize for being involved in the slave trade, but a lot of people don't know that history, and by watching it, a lot of people will, look at that also, like, oh, so hopefully that doesn't create a barrier between African Americans and Africans. This is just the history, but it's a tough pill to swallow. I think the movie was dope.
Okay, so now we're gonna go into final thoughts. So, final thoughts.
I think the Woman King movie was dope. All those negative narratives that people have, it's just a movie. Yes, it is telling a story. I don't think they're pushing this movie on anybody. You don't have to watch it, and you don't have to say anything about it. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it, but don't try to prevent anybody else from watching it because of your own belief. You're pushing your own beliefs on somebody. Oh, don't watch this movie. Let's boycott this movie. It's a movie, right? Unless you have anything.
So would you recommend people to go see this movie, even though we just explained that?
Yeah, if you're a person that's interested in going to the continent and learning some history about the continent, insight on some history, but do your own research and I think you should watch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very exciting movie. You know, learn something. It was cool.
Mm-hmm. And and then you already said about those who talking about boycott. Okay, so I guess that's it.
That's
right?
our review.
That's
We've
our
been
review.
there.
Okay.